Welcome back to the show. Today we're looking at a commentary piece breaking down the very public, very messy feud between Candace Owens and Dave Rubin.
Oh, messy is the word for it. Yeah.
It's got blackmail, grooming allegations, chicken parmesan. It is a lot. And frankly, this draft struggles to keep it all straight.
Yeah, I'm ready. Reading through it, I felt like I was being dragged through a hedge backward. I mean, there's so much raw energy, but it's chaotic.
Exact. Visceral. And that brings us to the first big hurdle, the narrative structure. I mean, when you're covering a he said, she said that spans years and multiple Twitter threads, your job number one is to be the map maker for the audience.
And this draft doesn't really do that. It feels more like we're just watching someone doom scroll in real time.
Yes, that's a perfect way to put it. The core issue is how they organize the timeline. They're trying to weave the receipts, the actual tweets, with their own immediate emotional reactions. And the result is you're just jumping back and forth. It muddies everything.
It really does. You look at the first few minutes, right? We start with Dave Rubin's tweet about that dinner in 2022, the chicken parm dinner.
Right.
Then, without even a pause, we pivot to Candace Owens' response, but she isn't talking about dinner. She's dropping this huge allegation about a young Christian male in grooming.
And then they cut away to read from the DSM about narcissism.
Before jumping back to receipts about Peter Thiel. It's whiplash.
It is, and here's why that's a problem for the argument itself. The whole point they're trying to make is that Owens is deflecting, right?
Yeah.
Rubin says, "You were rude at dinner," and she responds with, "You're a predator." That disproportionate response is the story. But because the structure is so choppy, the listener completely loses that thread. You're left wondering, wait, did the grooming happen at the dinner?
Is Ivanka Trump involved in the blackmail?
Exactly. By reacting to every single sentence individually, they break that chain of cause and effect.
Okay, let me just play devil's advocate for a second. Isn't that chaotic energy kind of the point of this genre? People tune in for the live reaction feel. If we structure it too much, do we, kill the vibe?
That's a fair point. You don't want it to sound like a legal deposition, but I'd argue that confusion is the enemy of impact. You can have high energy and clarity. If the listener is confused about the basic timeline, they can't fully appreciate how severe that deflection actually is.
Okay, so what's the fix?
My suggestion is a technique I call block and bridge.
Block and bridge. Okay, walk me through it.
Think of it like a trial. You don't let the witness start screaming at the lawyer after every single question. You present a block of evidence from one side, then a block of rebuttal from the other. And then, and this is the key, you bridge them with your analysis.
So how would that look in practice here?
Okay, take what we can call Dinnergate. Right now it's all mashed up with the grooming stuff.
Right.
In a block and bridge structure, you would spend a solid 2 minutes just on the dinner. Read Rubin's full accusation about the Ivanka and Jared rant. Then read Owens' specific rebuttal where she says it was just a sensible opinion. Finish that story. Block it off.
And then you do a completely separate block for the employee allegations?
Spot on. A distinct section. Read Owens' whole tweet about the young Christian male in Miami. Then read Rubin's defense about mentoring a shy kid. By blocking them separate, the listener can actually weigh the evidence. They can think, okay, the dinner thing is kind of petty, but this grooming accusation, that's serious.
And that actually highlights the strategy of the people involved much better, doesn't it?
How so?
Well, when you separate the blocks, you realize, oh, she never actually answered the question about the dinner. She just threw a grenade about an intern.
Exactly. The structure itself reveals the deflection. When you mix it all up, it's just a messy food fight. When you separate the strands, you see the tactical move. It makes the commentary smarter without losing any of the drama.
I like that. It respects the audience. But that leads to the next big issue, which is how the hosts are actually describing these people. We have to talk about the labeling.
Oh, the adjectives. There were quite a few.
To put it mildly, I actually went through and circled them. We've got full bitch mode, sheer fiction, lying little man, evil, poisonous, psychopath, and my personal favorite, textbook narcissist.
Definitely not pulling any punches.
No. And look, I get it. It's a commentary show. They have opinions. But does starting with she is a psychopath actually help your argument? For me, it felt like they were just telling me what to think before they'd shown me any real evidence.
That's the trap, isn't it? When you lead with a label like that, you just trigger the listener's skepticism. If I tell you this person is a monster, your first instinct is to say, well, hold on. Let me judge for myself. You put your guard up.
Right.
The weakness in this script is that the labels are doing all the heavy lifting. that the analysis should be doing.
So instead of calling her a textbook narcissist right out of the gate, what's the better move? I mean, they clearly believe she is one. They're citing the DSM.
The move is behavioral deconstruction. Show the manipulation, don't just name it. Instead of saying she is evil, you analyze the tactics she's using.
Okay, give me an example. How do you deconstruct evil here?
All right, let's look at the receipts part. Owens tweets, "Please don't make me drop receipts, you won't survive it." The host's response is basically, "See, this is what she does. She's a psychopath."
Right, which is satisfying to say, I'm sure.
For them, maybe. But a stronger critique would be to identify the rhetorical device. You could say, notice how she's using the threat of future damage to silence present criticism. She isn't actually defending herself against the dinner claim. She's holding his reputation hostage.
Wow. Yeah, that is so much more damning.
Isn't it? It sounds clinical. It sounds authoritative. It moves the host from just being a hater to being an analyst.
I see that. Is the difference between a fan shouting at the TV and a coach breaking down the game film. One is just venting, the other's analysis.
Precisely. Or look at the tu quoque fallacy. It's just a fancy term for what about it?
Uh-huh.
When Rubin says you lied about dinner, and she says, well, you're a groomer, that's a classic pivot. Instead of the hosts just yelling, she's crazy, they could pause and ask the audience, does this rebuttal actually address the accusation, or is it a smoke bomb designed to distract?
That's good. That engages the listener. But are we killing the fun factor again? If we strip out all the bitch modes and psychopaths, does the show become too academic, too dry?
I don't think you have to strip it all away. You can still have a strong voice, but you have to earn the label. If you spend 5 minutes deconstructing the behavior, laying out the manipulation, proving the deflection, then you can conclude with, and frankly, that is narcissistic behavior.
I see.
At that point, the audience is nodding along. If you start with it, you look biased. If you end with it, you look vindicated.
Earn the insult. I like that. Okay, speaking of credibility, we need to talk about the third rail this script touches. The third parties. The people who aren't even in the tweets.
This is where the script really starts to wobble on its factual foundations. They spend a lot of time speculating on what people like Matt Walsh and Michael Knowles are thinking, and especially Candace Owens' husband.
The comments about the husband were a choice.
A choice indeed. They claim he's afraid. They speculate about his sexuality. And then there's that comment about her wearing shoulder pads, which means she is the man in the relationship.
The shoulder pad comment. That stopped me cold. Because up to that point, we're talking about really serious political infighting, blackmail, all of it. And then suddenly it felt like we were in a high school cafeteria making fun of what someone's wearing.
Of ad hominem attacks on a spouse's appearance completely detract from the gravity of the actual allegations being discussed.
Right.
If you're trying to convince me that someone is a dangerous operator, don't pivot to making fun of her husband's blazer. It just makes you look petty, and it gives the other side an easy way to dismiss everything you just said.
Oh, they're just haters.
Exactly. You hand them that defense on a silver platter. The suggestion is to just cut the personal attacks on the family entirely. And for the political figures, use what I'd call probabilistic language.
Probabilistic language. Sounds safer.
It is. The script says Matt Walsh is very guarded, which implies they know his internal emotional state. They don't know that. He might be guarded, he might be busy,
Or he might just be enjoying the show from the sidelines with a bucket of popcorn like the rest of us.
Right. So instead of trying to read minds, just stick to the observable facts. You say, it is notable that her colleagues Matt Walsh and Michael Knowles have remained publicly silent on this. That's a fact. It paints the picture of isolation without making stuff up.
It's stronger because it's undeniable. You can't argue with they are silent. You can't argue with they are scared.
Spot on. And for the husband, just drop the shoulder pad stuff. Stick to the relevant alliances. Mentioning Tyler Robinson or Charlie Kirk makes sense. They're part of the power structure. The husband's blazer is not.
It really is a distraction. I mean, we're talking about alleged predation, and then we're making jokes about who wears the pants in the relationship. It feels shallow.
Which brings us to the ultimate moment of shallow, the transition. We have to talk about the Marley Spoon ad.
Oh, man. I was listening to the reading of this script, and I actually laughed out loud. Not because it was funny, but because it was so jarring.
So let's set the scene. The hosts have just spent 10 minutes calling this feud ugly, poisonous, and calling one of the people involved evil and the worst of the worst. They are deep in the mud. And then, without even a breath, it pivots to, and you know what's not evil? This yummy loaf of bread from Marley Spoon.
It was something like, she is absolute poison. Anyway, check out this chicken parm sandwich kit.
It's a disaster. It completely trivializes everything they just said. If you can pivot from grooming allegations to yummy bread in half a second, it tells the listener you don't actually take the allegations seriously. It signals this is all just content for you. It shatters the immersion.
It's the YouTuber apology vibe, crying on camera, and then don't forget to click the link in the bio.
Yes.
So how do you fix it? I mean, they have to read the ad. Bills have to get paid.
Two options. Option one is the hard break. You need a palate cleanse. You can't just slide into the ad. You have to stop the car, get out, and get into a different car.
So like a literal pause? Silence?
Yes, a distinct pause. You summarize the segment with some gravity. This is a feud that is clearly going to get uglier. We're going to keep watching because the implications are serious. Full stop. Take a beat, then change your vocal tone completely. Go brighter. Now, on a completely lighter note, let's talk about what's for dinner.
That signals to the listener, okay, we're done with the dark stuff now. It's a safe space.
It respects their emotional state. But there's a second option, and this one's a bit more elegant. Did you notice the irony of the specific product being advertised?
Wait, the chicken parm? Yes.
The entire feud started because Dave Rubin tweeted a picture of chicken parmesan he made for Candace Owens, and the sponsor is a meal kit service selling chicken parmesan sandwich.
You cannot make this stuff up. Reality is stranger than fiction.
It's absurd. And the current draft just completely ignores it. They treat it like a totally normal ad read. My suggestion? Lean into the irony. Call it out.
So don't hide from it. Make the joke.
Absolutely. Imagine if the host said something like, speaking of chicken parm, and hopefully this one doesn't come with a side of blackmail and political ruin, let's talk about what I made for dinner last night.
That would be brilliant. It acknowledges the elephant in the room. It tells the audience, we know this is weird. We're in on the joke with you.
It turns a tonal weakness into a moment of connection. It shows self-awareness. Right now, by ignoring it, they just look oblivious.
It really does all come back to self-awareness, doesn't it? Whether it's the structure, the labels, or the ad read, it's all about knowing how the audience is receiving this.
That's the common thread for sure. Audience aware. The listener isn't inside your head. They don't know the timeline, they don't have the same emotional investment. You have to build that bridge for them.
So let's wrap this up. What are the big takeaways for the person who submitted this?
First, structure creates clarity. Use that block and bridge method. Don't let the timeline turn into... Give us the full accusation, the full rebuttal, and then your analysis.
Second, show, don't tell. Deconstruct the behavior instead of just slapping a label on it. Proving someone is manipulative is so much more powerful than just calling them a psychopath. Earn your insults.
Third, tighten up the speculative. Don't mind read people who aren't in the room. Use probabilistic language. They are silent, not they are afraid. And please, for the love of your own credibility, drop the fatine.
And finally, stick the landing. When you have to transition from evil to an ad, either use a hard break to reset the tone or be smart enough to use the irony to your advantage, especially when the irony involves chicken parmesan.
Seriously, don't leave that joke on the table. It's gold.
I would love to see a rewrite of this. It's such a juicy topic, and the passion is definitely there. If they can just organize the chaos, it could be a really definitive piece of commentary.
I agree. The raw material is explosive. It just needs a better containment vessel. So listener, take these notes, rearrange those blocks, and please send us the new draft. We want to see how you handle that Dinnergate versus grooming split.
And maybe send us the chicken parm recipe, too. I'm kind of hungry now.
Focus. But yes, send the script back in for a follow-up critique. We'll be here.
Keep writing.
Goodbye.